everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we're going to talk about how we can activate customer insights and incorporate them into our product development. My name is Katerina Arzaev, and I am here in my capacity as the product manager for Healthcare Edge. So why healthcare? I want to start this conversation with a use case that we've identified in the North American healthcare market, particularly in health tech, and talk a little bit about the ironies in this heavily regulated and very innovative industry. Health tech is very interesting because at the same time as they are 30 years behind in technology, they are also innovating and keeping people alive on an individual genomic level. And they need to create technologies that don't fail at that goal, while also being very standardized because of the regulations that surround health tech in general. At its worst, healthcare is regional. At its best, it's individual. But you have companies like GE Healthcare or Medtronic that are trying to innovate on a global level with supply chains running throughout Asia and landing in the bodies of Americans and being supported by people all over the world in customer call centers. This is a very difficult industry to be in, and when we talk to these customers, we start understanding just how difficult it can be to teach sometimes old dogs new tricks, and at the same time make sure that their technology and their infrastructure is secure, and also enable them to co-opetition with their competitors where they're cooperating and competing at the same time. And we're really trying to target this standardization across everything that they're trying to do. And on the screen, you'll see a bunch of different ironies. Healthcare is incredibly high tech. It's 3 decades behind. It needs to be secure, but you also need to access your data. You need to maintain cooperation. But the standardization at the end of the day is really, really important, because not only can you take those best practices across customers and your competition, you need to be able to implement that across individuals with different genomic structures in different cultures and different contexts. And you're fighting against an industry complete with not just regulators, but providers who might not want to change and might not want to agree that the technology that they've been using to save lives for the past 30 years is now outdated, because that could put into question their entire experience. We've learned a lot of lessons in healthcare, and healthcare is, in my opinion as the product manager, one of the most difficult things that we can do at SUSE. But we can take those lessons and we can apply them to everyone else. And my colleague Rob is going to tell you how we take the lessons from healthcare and we apply them in different industries to develop products that are perfect for our customers.
Thank you, Katerina. My name is Rob Munilla. I'm a principal technical program manager. And when Katerina told me that she was going to talk about this, we quickly figured out how we could collaborate, because I have a passion for the same ideas. So, throughout my career in the field of technology, I learned a lot about the importance of slowing down to listen to our customers, right? So for the remainder of the session, I want to expand on what Katerina has already said, but I also want to take you into a slightly different direction, which is the value of these customer insights, right? I want to go into how SUSE is currently using some of these insights to develop stronger and more relevant products. And additionally, I'd like to go over with you different ways that you and your team members can join us in this collaborative approach. So while on the subject of ironies, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite ones. And if we all remember, when we were talking about technology, they would tell us, it's going to make your life easier, right? You'll never have to cut the grass again. You'll never have to wash dishes. But also, it was going to help us in the field of communication and staying in contact with one another. Now, the irony is that although it has the ability to bring us closer together, it can have that backlash effect in which we get so overloaded with emails and meetings and conference calls that we forget the importance of this personal touch that Katerina is referring to, right? Sort of slowing down where a customer and a vendor can have those critical conversations, which should lead to a faster and a better understanding of each other and faster resolutions, right? So that's what I really want to talk about, how we can leverage these things towards achieving innovation quicker, right? So very quickly over my agenda, I'm going to do the what, the why, and the how. Sorry. There you go. The what, the why, and the how of customer insights. I want to cover several offerings that SUSE currently has in place that I feel can greatly enhance your team's performance, can facilitate collaboration and community, and also share how we regularly collect this feedback and most importantly, how we're going to use it towards implementing more innovative products. We will bring it together at the end with an emphasis on some actions that you can take as early as today at SouzaCon to help you lead the way to success. So let's have a conversation about how to collaborate and share information and expedite innovation. So starting with the what are some of the challenges that we face today? When we're talking about a constantly changing market dynamic, we immediately have to think about rapidly changing technology, right? Even while we've been here this week at SouzaCon, we've been getting updates on how the technology is changing, right? Now, with that, we have to think about how that brings challenges in customers' expectation, right? Where Edge and AI were just a year ago, and now where we are today has exponentially changed. So customers are going to have that expectation from us as well. They're not looking at us to not only understand the technology, but master it and leverage it towards success. And then they want us to guide them to do the same. So the blind side to that is that if we are going to end up building a very competitive market by which we're going to be constantly competing with one another over resources, the market, and any type of innovation. But if we focus on that, we're going to forget something that I feel is one of the most important parts of open source, which is achieving success through collaboration. Now, if you were lucky enough to listen to Eric Wall's note yesterday, The Art of Creative Action, I don't know if any of you were able to see that one, but it was amazing. If you didn't, please go listen to it. He shared with us how he felt that earlier in his life he was sort of trapped by expectations and how to break away from that into a world of creativity. But what he said was, do not fear creativity, for it drives innovation. So that really touched my heart, and I thought, how can I use that in my presentation? So I'm going to slightly change it and say, do not fear collaboration, for it drives innovation, right? So as we move forward, I just want us to really focus on leveraging the collaboration, right, and achieving this success. Now that we've talked about the why, I'm going to very quickly go into the why. And so since we've been hitting some of these points, Katerina had a really good suggestion that rather than tell you the why for SUSE, we tell you a little bit about what some of our customers have been telling us they feel has been beneficial by us approaching it by this path. One of which is that through these conversations, now we're talking to our customers and we're not just trying to sell them a product, right? We're listening to the short-term and long-term goals, and we're not just walking up and saying, here's a product. You would not feel good if you walked into a car dealer and before you even talked to the person, they said, here are the keys to your station wagon, and she's smiling back there, right? And you're like, but I don't want a station wagon, I want a two-seater sports car. Well, here's the keys to your station wagon. If we're not careful, that's exactly what some of the companies are doing. We're building products in a vacuum and then expecting our customers to make them work, right? The other thing that was very interesting is that by us having these communications with them, we learn more about their software, their hardware, their architectures, which is all information we should be sharing anyway, and we made them feel empowered, right? Then we made them feel that they're now part of SUSE and the open source community. This, of course, leads to increased productivity, and for us, selfishly, we get enhanced product development, right? By listening to you, we get to hopefully build the products that you want that are relevant, functional, and robust. Now, I don't want us to forget that this also increases the speed by which we are all learning from one another. And I know I'm probably harping a little bit on the open source thing, but it's that important to me. Now, let's go into the how. What are some things that SUSE can do for you, or what are some things that SUSE is currently doing for you? Thank you, Katerina. Over the next few slides, I want to share some offerings for you that are already in place. And I also want to include some tidbits from our customers and how they told us they're beneficial to them by becoming members of these groups. But before we move forward, I want you to understand something that's important. A lot of these offerings are provided to you by SUSE at absolutely no cost, okay? And that, again, they have booths here at SUSECon to get more information. First, let's talk about the SUSE Collective program. Is there any chance anybody here is a member of that by any chance? No? Okay. Yay! The Sousa Collective program, right? This program is designed towards fostering collaborative engagement, and in other words, peer interaction, right? And the benefits that you can get from talking to people that are in the field, and how hopefully that also helps you to share information and learn quicker. They have over 1,000 members and they're continuing to grow. Now, our partners are incredibly important to us, so I want you to know that we have the Sousa Champions as well. Now, some mutual benefits from the programs are that we're providing this platform by which the customers can interact, right? And of course, this fosters collaboration. We're promoting collaborative learning, which is the essence of open source. And we also want to say that the customers feel like through this open communication and peer interaction, we're helping them to stay ahead of the curve. All of this, of course, encouraging community. Now, they also have member portals by which our members can go in there and do activities that are both fun and informative, and we have challenges in place in case you want to get some of this cool Sousa swag. Yeah. So make sure you stop by the booth and go talk to them. Lastly, they have newsletters, which I think are important because they're going to talk about member-only activities, but they're going to tell you about offerings that are coming in the future, and typically that means that you're going to get first chance at being a part of that. Next is the voice of the customer, which I really, really care about because it has like dual benefits. For you as a customer, it's used to amplify your voice. We do this through customer surveys, product questionnaires, individual interviews, and we have a win-loss program, and you can always just ask for a callback, and they'll talk to you one-on-one if you want to provide feedback. As a matter of fact, they have a survey that's currently live, and I'm sharing that later in a slide. Now, the dual benefit is that internally, my goals are, with our team, we're going to make sure that we are hearing the feedback all the way from the sales side and then bring it back slowly through PM and engineering, again, to help us build stronger products. Now, this takes us into technical support and services. They also do training, of course. And Sousa has an amazing team of people who can provide top-notch technical support. We, of course, do this through the phone and the customer portal. But we also have technical documentation available to you, and then we have Tier 1 consulting and services. They provide assistance all the way from the design phase out to expanding your current setup and, of course, the support. Now, while I could talk about the support for quite a while, I'm sure you're thinking, Rob, what does this have to do about market insights? So I share this with you because I started in support, and I feel like it's an important part of your customer journey, but also that those teams, they want to hear from you as well. The interaction that you have with them, they want to hear how they're doing, and all in the spirit of continuous improvement and hopefully surpassing your expectations. So please make sure you share your feedback there. Now, I'm going to quickly summarize and just take it into some key points. Please make sure you join our community, and that's what open source is all about. Share your experiences with us. Leverage the programs that we've talked about and use support offerings. Get help when you need from our services team. And the most important is, let's work together to ensure we continue to build on the principles of open source. On the next slide, I'm just providing, we have several demos here in place for the Edge team. Please go by, go Edge. And then we have the Sousa Collective, the Champions, the Voice of the Customer, and the Global Services team here as well. On this slide, Katarina had the great idea of kind of bringing it all together. So what I said was, I think I'll try to build it from the perspective of someone who's trying to learn about the Edge. So from documentation and all the different steps you can take from design to being part of the community, providing the actionable feedback, and of course getting your support. And this includes the links to everything we just talked about. So I hope you found this presentation informative. I hope you're enjoying the rest of your time here at SousaCon. Make sure you stop by the demos and we'll open it up to some questions. Yeah?
Please use the microphone for your questions as the session is being recorded.
Okay, I'll try with a question. Can you elaborate a little bit around why you chose to build your own ecosystem? Let's call it that. For example, this SUSE collaborative thing, because I'm already also a member of various Slack channels and GitHub and whatnot. You're addressing a highly technical community, and yet you start to build up yet another portal, and you can earn points and whatnot. And when I saw that, I decided not to join.
Okay, okay. Well, we love all feedback, positive and not so positive. I see your perspective, but try to think about it from the perspective of other people as well. Maybe they're not quite as technical as you are, right? There's that. But also, they really enjoy that they have a forum by which they can talk to other people and sort of learn from them. A lot of people just like swag. Let me just be honest with you. I'm kidding. But I think, again, this goes back to what you're saying in IRC, I'm never going to get to see, right? And so we understood the importance of making sure that we're trying to track in one place what someone as smart as you is saying about our product. You're the one using our product every day, right? So we want to hear from you. We want to try to collectively gather this information. And although we're not quite there, we're working towards having a canonical source of information. So let's say a product manager needs to know about a particular subject, that we can hopefully quickly mine that information, not have to bother you again, not send you another email again, right? You're smiling. All right. So we're trying to build that collective source that we can then use towards building the products that hopefully you want. We're also providing a way where if you're just like frustrated one day and you're like, they're not listening to me, you can reach out to the voice of the customer and say, I want you to give me a call back. But if you think that's frustrating, imagine you providing this information and then we just nod our head. Isn't that what most people do? Yeah, I'm listening. And then we take no action on it, right? So again, our hopes are that by having that information there, we can take action on your feedback and make sure that we're working with you towards winning together. Does that answer your question?
And from my perspective, there's reactive feedback and proactive feedback. And these systems that we have in place can proactively take concerns, take interesting feedback about product development or future technical capabilities, and implement them to the product and engineering team so they can be added to roadmaps. Versus reactively, you might have a Reddit post or a GitHub comment, something that is speaking to an immediate issue that might not get escalated to our more formal SUSE customer center. And we also have programs internally to our staff that continue the feedback loop as well. Product managers in the Edge team are responsible for taking detailed notes about their customer or partner conversations and documenting them in tools like Qualtrics that will then analyze and build timelines of both the sentiment of the people you're speaking with, the keywords that they're addressing, the challenges that they're facing, and build timelines that you can look at and understand if you're sufficiently addressing their concerns, or if that's something that needs to be escalated, or if that's something that is a very ambitious goal for your customer that is too ambitious for your current capabilities.
And if I may, that's great. I'm glad you said that. If I may add the frosting on the cake to make you want to join. As she said, we do have internal programs, or I'm helping launch right now, that are going to be highly beneficial, and members of these teams will get to hear about that first and possibly get invited to member-only type things, be it town halls or any type of software testing and things like that we're wanting to launch. So that would give you that added advantage. But really, I just want to drive home that this is our way of not letting your information be lost in some IRC channel somewhere and nobody really knows. I mean, the engineering team is here with us. We're heads down putting down code as quickly as we can. So we want to make sure that you're being listened to.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to hear exactly your elaboration on why.
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong.
It was a great question. I love it. Any other questions?
Hello, great presentation. By the way,
Thank you.
We are a partner in Brazil, a commercial representative, and I understand how a peer-to-peer community can help just create this feel of feedback and positive reinforcement. Yet, for our case in specific, we are a little bit smaller in infrastructure, and
Sure.
our clients, there is a little bit of friction when it comes to joining big communities. Of course, the main goal is to bring people into the programs that we already have, but what would you feel like would be a great way to implement this philosophy, this framework, on a smaller scale or on a smaller infrastructure level, besides adding them to the communities that we already have?
Sure. Yeah, it's a great question. Just so you know, I've worked a lot with the Latin American community. Eu não falo português. Yeah. But that's a good question. I mean, you know, by you becoming a member of, say, the collective of the champions, it doesn't really matter what size you are. You can still become part of that community. I don't know how many members you have, but they're all welcome to join and then have that. You know, and then my hopes are, as we build these programs, we absolutely plan on just providing them for all the geos or all the regions, I think is how everybody refers to them. So I'm a fan of pushing it in South America. Yo hablo español. So we will be coming to you. But I think for now, if they would just become members of the collective or the champions, and I'm glad to go over there with you if you want, I think you'll get some of what you want as far as the community, and it'll sort of get that kick-started. And again, you could go in there and maybe talk to other people from Brazil. Yeah. And we can see how we can help you out.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. And I'm glad to give you my information, and you can contact me directly.
Right after, I'll come back for this.
Perfect.
Thank you. That actually reminds me of some more intimate customer programs that you can put into place, including different advisory boards with customers or partners that are more intimate and in-person opportunities to gather in a room and create that proximal space that you need in order to build trust and continue those relationships. So if going online isn't part of the cultural desire, and it is more necessary to be in the same room and communicate those concerns and hear those concerns from your peers in the industry, something like a forum or a customer advisory board could be a great first step.
Yeah, and actually that's great feedback, because I do remember working with the Latin American community. A lot of times they just prefer a newsletter because, you know, they're busy and they can get to it. And so maybe what we can do is we can talk to Hugh and everyone in the collective or the champions and talk about translating some of those newsletters in your local language, okay? Yeah?
Well, we'll be around. We're here for the rest of the week as well, so if you happen to be staying at the Estro, please swing by. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming, especially after the festivities of the day are over. We hope to see you at Demopalooza, and we'll be around for any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.